There you are. Hello everyone. And this week we're going to start working on the canvas. Now, hopefully you've managed to assemble the entire face bit by bit by bit. Lips, nose, eyes, ears, proportions, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, neck. A line comes down from the eye, and that's the outside of the neck there. A line comes down from the outside of the eye here, and that's the outside of the neck there. That will at least enable those of you who are complete beginners to have the establishment of the correct placement of the face. So we're going to start working on the canvas. Which you have, like so. That's the canvas. Make sure that you take the smaller of the two, use that, okay. And this is the drawing I did last week which depicts the face. So there you can see it, vaguely through all that. And we're going to start working on the underpainting this week. So what I need you to do is get out some of your smaller brushes, have out a few of your larger brushes, use the paper palettes which come in the Hostos art box from Blick Art Supplies. So you'll have this. Has the tear off sheets like so. Okay, put some brown paint on there. Check the tubes. There'll be some sort of brown written on it, burnt sienna or burnt umber. That's the name for brown. Or you can just open it and squeeze it, and if it looks brown, it is brown. Okay, so take that, get a jar with some water. Take the brush. Now you can see here I have sellotaped a mirror onto the side of the canvas, and I also have a photograph here. You can use both. I'm going to use both the photograph and the mirror. You can use either or you can take a selfie with your camera and use it. The only problem with the camera selfies is after a few seconds it goes dark and you lose the image. So it's entirely up to you which method you want to use to look at your face. Probably a simple little mirror and a selfie. And if you have an ability to print photographs, if you have a printer, print a photograph just on any old piece of paper. I mean, I used photo paper, but you can use cheap, normal paper. Okay, so we're going to use the brown, and I'm going to just go over some of what was drawn last week. So if you can all see me, I'm going to do the eye. Now this, what we're doing, is called the underpainting. So it's, use this so it's longer. So it's just going to define what goes underneath the final image. Put the eyebrow here. The funny thing is, if you're using photograph and mirror, you will see only a certain amount in the photograph. But as soon as you start to use the mirror, you will start to see much, 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 much more. It's got much more depth. That's the reason why a photograph only gives you a certain amount of depth in a painting. So you're going to go over what you drew last week. And this is just using the brown colour. In fact, I'm finding a good way of doing it is to get the shapes and everything, start working from the photograph, and then to get into more intricacies you can work from real life. You know, that's a good way of doing it. I'm using a little bit of a larger brush for this shadow at the nose. Now you've watched last week's video, so you'll remember me talking about the shadows with the face, the light coming from one side and the shadows being cast on the other side. Now when you use these smaller brushes, which you will have in your collection from Blick, they are also used like drawing. You know, you're drawing with that brush, so you're bringing in more shapes and more details from what you created last week. So I'm drawing in about the eyes. I'll take a bit of a larger brush now to kind of bring in some of the side here of the face. I'm going to do that cheekbone that I showed you last week. You can see how I'm just shaping it there with that. Does that make sense? So this is like a kind of skeleton of the face where you're getting the feeling of it, you know, before you start to put the colours in. And all the rules that I've taught you in the drawings apply to the painting. You know, the top lip is going to be a bit darker. The bottom lip's going to be a bit lighter. And you're going to have those edges here, you're going to have the defining edges, you're going to have the little wrinkles, put them out there, smooth it out, okay, right. Shadow underneath the lip, shadow underneath the nose. And the chin is here. And as I said before last week, the ears, you do not have to worry about them. I'm just going to squiggle them in very simply. Like that, just a shape like that, okay? So never panic about the ears. They are easily enough done. So I'm putting the edge of the face down in this brown. Look at that. And give them areas with the eyes. Take some of This is a plastic mirror, so it won't break. They were pretty cheap actually, I bought them from Amazon. We'll do the top of the head. Some hair. This is done. Now this is just called the underpainting, and this is all you do, brown paint. If you haven't painted before, this is your chance to really start to learn something professional and serious. So I'm just going to keep putting that shadow under the chin there, like that. Now some of you will come to this naturally, and for some of you this will just be, at the best, a struggle, at the worst, impossible. So you'll find yourself somewhere in the range of those experiences. And it's okay. Everything worth really achieving is always going to be something of a struggle at the beginning and will entail some form of suffering. So don't be upset. It's part of the process. So around the eyes I can darken it in, can you see that? And here unfortunately someone has started over the street with their, I don't know what it is, but it's some machine, and hopefully you can hear me over it. In like that. Like that. So I'm using the brush about that size, smoothing and blending it in. Maybe I shouldn't do these outside, there's a lot of extraneous noise. But blend it in, you know, if you wear makeup, you know how to blend in makeup, and it has certain of the same principles. There we go. So that's all that's done at the beginning, is this basically bringing the face to life with the brown paint. Okay, I hope this is making sense. I know some of you will need a lot more time to do this than average. So just send in what you can do and how you can do it. I mean, it's a professional process. you're in a college of higher education, so it's not school. So you're learning something on a more higher level. So this is it. Okay, I'm going to leave that. That's been about 12 minutes. So that is all that's done this week, is starting the face out. And now it's up to you how much you put into it. If you want to put more work into it, you're welcome. You can bring the eyes up. You know, I'm just doing this very quickly. You know, obviously it takes time to really, you know, you can use, if you use more paint without the water, it'll be darker. The more water you put in, it'll be lighter. Okay, here we are. So that's it. That's been about 10 minutes of work. Take that away. There you have it. So that's the underpainting, which is bringing the face out in a kind of 3D, which is going to go, you know, and when I'm looking at it in the camera I can see something that's wrong here. There should be some more shadow on this side and here. You see how it goes? It's always building it up, building it up, building it up. And even with the white and the brown sticking through, you know, it's starting to look a bit like my skin now, you know, and that's it. So I'm not using any colours yet. Don't use any colours, just the brown for the underpainting. Okay, and we'll kind of build this underpainting process up over the next couple or so, 2 or 3 weeks, okay? So there it is, smoothing it out like makeup. Smooth off the edges here if I want. See how I'm using that big brush just to blend it all in. A lot of painting is blending, 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 harmonizing, harmonizing, harmonizing. And I'm sure some of you can see from the very simple thing that was there at the beginning, this is starting to look like a proper painting with a three-dimensional face. So, not bad for 15 minutes. You've got 24 hours multiplied by 7. God, my maths is so lousy. What's that, 168 hours or something like that? A whole week. So that's what I've done.